I want to make it a priority, or I do make it a priority, to keep in touch with my Iowa constituents, 3 2/10 million of them. I listen to their thoughts and concerns. Now, that could be on my 99 county tour meetings that I hold every year for 41 years in a row, now that I've been a senator for Iowa, or it could be during the matchup of the Iowa State versus my alma mater, Northern Iowa football. In either case, I meet with Iowans where they are and listen to what is on their mind. During this past state work period, I had multiple conversations with farmers about what is on their minds. At the UNI Iowa State game, I had a conversation with a friend, but also a fellow farmer, Ron Heck. He farms near Perry, Iowa, where he talked to me at this football game about concerns about President Biden's tax plan. Ron followed up with an email to me, which I want to share with my colleagues on the floor, since this is a theme that I've consistently heard across the state. At the end of my speech, Mr. President, I'd like to put this email in the record. I'm going to refer to parts of that email, but I think you ought to hear it directly from Ron Heck, and so that will be at the end. Just read it. But here's my summation of it. Ron started the email by saying, quote, "Iowa farmers have a problem with exploding land prices coupled with Biden's increasing death and transfer taxes," end of quote. But to quote further, a tax at death or transfer can't be paid back by younger working farm families. Young Iowa farmers would become feudal servants to banks and landlords from outside the state. There are many cliches and articles written about this. I have seen some that don't seem to grasp the problem, end of quote. For those that didn't grasp the problem that these taxes might cause, Ron highlighted some key statistics on the lack of available Iowa farmland. You understand, God only made so much farmland. Quoting again, in Iowa, from the third quarter of 2020 through the second quarter of 2021, the Center for Agricultural and Rural Development at Iowa State University says 181,046 acres of Iowa farmland has been available on the market. Out of about 30 million crop acres, this is 0.6% in a year. Everyone knows that it might be 100 years before a parcel is available again. So you need to buy it now is always said by the auctioneer. A Des Moines Register article on June 28, 2018 by Donnell Eller says that only 7% of Iowa's farmland owners intend to sell to a non-family member. Ron made this point to show that public auction prices are high because of the scarcity of available farmland for sale. These prices should not be used for family transfer, tax transfer valuations for taxation. But of course they would be under some of these ideas coming out of the White House. Ron continued with facts on the price of this farmland. Quote, "Outsiders believe the value is there, but in fact, farm families don't want to sell, so the auction price goes up." Ron said, quote, "In August, there were 40 Iowa farmland auctions, with most of the sales between $10,000 to $16,000 an acre. Assuming a taxable gain of $10,000 per acre, Biden's tax plan could be $4,400 per acre. Ron told me that, quote, at a minimum, this would be a $200 per acre cash rent for 22 years to the U.S. government, all payable in advance, end of quote. He added, quote, this is confiscation, not taxation. Ron said that since $4,400 must be paid for with after-tax dollars, it would take double this amount to pay it back. Interest charges could make the payback period more than 50 years just to pay the U.S. government, end of quote. Ron finished his email by saying it doesn't take much outside money to raise havoc with Iowa farmland auction. Quote, estate or transfer taxes will ultimately destroy Iowa's farm culture, end of quote. Ron, thanks for taking time to write to me so I can tell your story to my colleagues in the United States Senate. It's my job to respond to comments and do something about it. I want to urge my colleagues to join together and oppose changes that will impact family farmers and small businesses generally. Most importantly, those families of which we're just told in Ron's statistics, 93% of the farmers want to pass it on to the next generation. That might be true of small businesses as well. And these Iowa farmers, just like farmers around the country, feed and fuel our country and the world. Only 2% of the people in this country provide food for the other 98%. Ensuring that the next generation of farmers are able to keep the land in their family is in our national interest. If you want to preserve the family farm, then you can't let it be taken away by these Biden tax proposals. These tax and spend proposals will be bad for small business, for farmers, and for all Iowans. And I'll insert at this point the entire email from Ron Heck.